Welcome back, friends. LostScarf here, and it's time for the final episode of Phoenix Wright, as far as I know. Let's go. February 10th, 3:36 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 7. I'm assuming the mother killed herself at this point to save her daughter.
Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the tests we had performed earlier.
Tests?
Yes, tests on the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree.
Oh yeah, that. I totally forgot about it. Museum. That's the weapon that Maya Fey used when she fought with the victim. So what are the results? Was it the victim's blood, or...?
Due to time constraints, a full test wasn't possible. However, there's one thing we can say with certainty. The owner is pregnant!
Oh no.
The blood that was on this dagger was not the victim's blood.
What? Is Mia stabbed anywhere?
That is all. Now then, let's restart this trial.
So it wasn't Misty's blood on the dagger. Then whose was it? Dagger updated in the court record. What?
I'm sure both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides will need to show some firm evidence with their claims.
I understand, Your Honor. Museum. From what I've heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking, so let's finish this quickly. It's not gonna be quick. Agreed.
Very well. Please bring in the last witness.
It all ends with Maya, huh? Hey, Maya, how's it going? Museum. Witness, please tell us your name and profession. Maya Fey. My profession is, I'm the assistant manager at Wright & Co. Law Offices.
Maya. According to the magazine I have here, you're a spirit medium of the Canadian channeling technique.
I'm frightened. The Fey clan. I don't want any more to do with it. Oh, Maya. The pain the Fey bloodline causes must be unbearable.
Very well. Now then, Miss Fey. When the event occurred, you were in the garden of the inner temple. And you witnessed the moment of Elise Donham's murder. Is this correct?
I didn't see anything. Museum. Straighten up this moment, young lady. Huh? Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later. But Your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There's nothing you can do to change that fact. But there's something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witnesses come out, and you've seen us squeeze the truth out of them. Now it's your turn. Let's hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen? Are we gonna try to get it out of Maya?
Witness, if you please.
Yes, Your Honor. These new headphones are... I can barely hear myself. I wonder how that's gonna affect the voices. These really cancel out the outside. Holy crap. Okay. At the inner temple. I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. I stumbled and ended up against the stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me!" Then something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness.
Like blood? So you were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been this staff.
Maya, the person who hit you. It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? I'm sorry, Nick. I couldn't see. I don't know who it was.
Maya, think hard.
Sorry, Nick, but I really couldn't.
Huh. Can't say it was an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone. It seems that it will be hard to determine the criminal through testimony alone. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your cross-examination.
Maya, hang in there. She doesn't look she doesn't look well at all. Why am I reading wrong? At the Inner Temple. I'm recording, right? I am. Okay, here we go. I read all this. Here we go. Don't have much energy left. Who else was on the Inner Temple side that night? Well, Sister Bikini, of course. But I remember her saying that Iris would be coming out later as well. On the day after the incident, Edgeworth met Bikini at Hazakura Temple. That means she couldn't be the criminal. So then, did Iris actually come later, like she said? Well, let me think. She seems confused. It's probably because she's so tired. No, I'm sure I didn't see her. She must have come while I was preparing for the training.
Who did it? Who hit you?
Well, I didn't see who it was. I was hit from behind.
You didn't see the person? But after that, your attacker was in front of you. How could you not see who it was?
Oh! Let me think for a sec. I'm sorry, I just can't remember.
Maya's really having a hard time. What should I do? Press her harder. Come on, Maya. This isn't making sense. Why didn't you see this person?
Well, let me think. It was, oh yeah, that's right. It was dark, that's it.
It was dark?
It's not good to have too much light around when someone is undergoing spirit training. Spiritual training.
Come to think of it, there was earlier testimony to that effect as well. So it was dark in the garden on the night of the crime. Which is why she didn't see her attacker. I thought maybe she was trying to hide something, but I guess not. Judging by the testimony thus far, the identity of the attacker was most likely the spirit that was channeled by Elise Donor, Dahlia Hawthorne. Very well, please continue with the testimony. What happened after you were struck on the head?
I stumbled and I read all that.
What happened afterwards?
My attacker was in front of me, blocking off my escape, I think.
You think?
After getting hit like that, I was in a state of panic. There were only two things rolling around in my head at the time.
Well now, this is beginning to get interesting. So what were the two things rolling around in your head?
Your mind. My name is Maya Fey. 1 + 1 = 2. You see, for some crazy reason, I was afraid I was going to lose my memory. I know it's odd considering my life was in danger, but that's how it was.
That's not odd at all. Your actions are understandable given the circumstances. So what did you do then? You think you screamed, but you're not sure?
Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man, a woman, an adult, a child? I had no idea. I was scared out of my wits.
Believe me, my dear, I'm certain I would have soiled my robes.
Oh, dude. I thought this person might attack me, so I... Anyway, I'm pretty sure I screamed. I thought that it was my last hope.
Wow, it sounds like poor little Maya really was out of her mind. But I wonder what she meant by last hope. What do I do? Do I press her for more details? Yes! What are the chances she summons someone to fight for her? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Wouldn't you, if you had the ability to summon? I'd summon Xena. Like, okay, a real version of Xena. Somebody like Xena. Okay. What did she scream? Also, we'll try all these. What did she scream?
So you're certain that you screamed, "Help me"? I think so. Now I think about it. Yeah, that's gotta be what I screamed. Huh. Is it all that strange trait for her to have screamed, "Help me"? No, but something about that bugs me. Why would you face someone that's trying to kill you? And go through the trouble of screaming for help?
Alright then, witness, go on with your testimony.
Oh, okay. Let's get back on that. Now, if there was gravy around, then it would be Pearl doing a really mean joke. Okay, so here we go. Let's do the last hope now. Last hope. Wait a minute, Maya. The music died. What the hell? What's this my last hope stuff? What? What do you mean by your last hope? No. That's what you said. You said my last hope. Huh? What? I said what? Jesus. Look, you were facing an attacker that you couldn't see, and you screamed, right? You screamed, "Help me." Yeah. But you testified that you screamed that because you thought it was your last hope. Oh, well, you know, it's like, what do you call it when that happens? Maya's not doing so well up there. Oh yeah, oh, that's right. I remember now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at. Obviously. What did you just say? Yeah, that's right. It was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. That's who I was screaming for help. There it is, that's who I was screaming to for help. Ah! What is it now? I messed up, didn't I? I didn't mean to let that slip out. That someone helped her? Huh? That someone helped her!
Witness, are you absolutely sure of what you're saying? Behind the attacker, there was another person.
I meant to keep that part a secret. Nah, what have I done? Huh. It takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say. A ton of pressure? Museum, you're in a court of law here. You can't make things up or try to hide things in this chamber.
Witness, the information you just presented is vital to the case. I want you to add it to your testimony.
Alright, here we go. I could see a man behind my attacker by the light of the stone lantern. A man? A man? A man? Who was this man? Well, you see, I couldn't see. You couldn't see? She's used this excuse twice now. Well, you know, lantern light isn't very bright.
Lantern light, did you say?
There's a great big stone lantern in the garden. They always light it when an acolyte is there for training. Went from dark to light. Hey, you know what they say. Under the lantern, darkness reigns. I could see the person that was further away, but not my attacker, who was closer. Plus, there weren't any other light sources in the garden at the time. No there were. There were a lot of light sources. Why don't we have a picture of the light sources? Like, seriously. I'll say it was lit, he says, but it wasn't lit. It's confusing. What's this shot? That's the bridge. Okay, let's just press some more. Keep pressing Maya. Always press Maya. You don't mean, what was it? I didn't know it was at the time, but I think it was probably blood. Is she saying that's when Miss Donham, who was channeling Dahlia, was stabbed in the back by the killer? At that moment, I was paralyzed with fear. I was just sitting there in the snow. I'm sure blood got on everything around me. And that's why she was wearing a different outfit. Because she had to wash off all the blood. That's when I lost consciousness. Because, like, she's not in the right outfit. So what happened next? I don't remember. How were you saved? You don't even remember that? No. I haven't got any idea. I really don't know what happened at all. That's too bad. I've worked side by side with Maya for 3 years now. When she hides something, I can tell by how she acts. And right now, I'm absolutely certain she's hiding something. How many hamburgers did she have? There it is. Present this. There it is. So there was a man standing behind your attacker? Yeah. That man. He's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elise Donham. Otherwise known as Misty Fey, your mother. The killer? Maya. You know who killed your mother, don't you?
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright?
To be frank, Your Honor, I think she is in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed the huge problem with her testimony. Huh? What do you mean? What problem? Maya. On the night of the crime, that stone lantern was out of commission. Huh? What? It's true. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night. No. Oh.
Order in the court. Mr. Cadeau, explain this.
Museum. Add the pureness of milk to the perfect, clear darkness of coffee, stir. That is the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of coffee a lot.
Coffee au lait? Is that even legal?
What the hell? Mr. Trite's words are the milk and you are the spoon. Your Honor.
I'm a spoon? I'm no spoony bard, I'll have you know.
I never understood the spoony bard comment. What is that? What does that reference mean? You must have noticed too. You must have noticed it too, Trite. This witness's mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that. Sorry, but that's not going to cut it.
What did you say?
If there truly was no light in the garden, then there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony. Nick? May I? Recall the witness's testimony about her attacker. She said that she didn't know it was a man or a woman, or an adult or a child. And yet, the witness could describe a person that was standing behind her attacker. Yeah, that's weird. And she quite clearly described him as a man. Ah! In other words, that would have to mean that Maya actually saw our mystery person, despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of the attacker in front of her. No! Who could it be? It's a dude.
Order! What in the world does this all mean, Mr. Wright? Are you saying Miss Fey saw the real killer under pitch-black conditions?
Objection!
Trite, do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? Museum. There was no other light source at the scene. There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark. And now, you're trying to cover for him.
Cover? For the man that killed her mother?
There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is. Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you. Huh. You talk a good game, Trite. But let's see if you can walk the walk. It was pitch black. So what could the witness see? I'm calling your bluff. I swear to God if it's actually Godot. No, Nick, don't. But please don't. Stop. Maya's dead set on protecting this guy. The man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But also the one that saved her life. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the law. I'm here to find the truth. Balls.
Alright, Mr. Wright. Time to show us what you've got. Who is this person that you say Miss Fey saw in the darkness?
There are only 1, 2, 3, 4 dudes, and it's Godot. He came from hell, right? Whoop! It's gotta be Godot! It's not Godot. Because it was pitch black, Miss Faye was able to recognize the killer easily. Because of the lights off his visor. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how this is possible, yes?
What? But how do you propose to show us something like that?
It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night.
Conditions?
Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off. Yup, it's Godot. Broom.
What? This is... But it can't be. Also, who's touching me?
Huh. Why would Godot press this if he knows it was going to reveal him? That was a nice bit of deduction. That's right. Yep. Well, everyone. This is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder. That is a good question. If you killed someone to protect someone else, is it still self-defense? Not really, but they were going to kill somebody, right? So what do you do?
Order.
Also, what was Godot doing there?
Prosecutor Godot, what is the meaning of this?
By the way, he's lost every match against Phoenix. What the hell? How good is he?
Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it?
Huh. Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person.
What do you mean by that?
If you got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Was it 3 glowing red lights?
Well, witness, answer the question.
Yeah, you're wrong. I never saw that. Maya! I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man. For a totally different reason. What?
Witness, Mr. Wright, what the...
Museum. Stop your chattering, Your Honor.
Chattering?
If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. He's got rules.
Alright.
Is Godot a ghost this whole time?
Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man.
Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but... His wang was just there. He was naked. I don't know. How would you figure out it's a dude? The killer. When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. All the snow got taken away. The torches were lit, and the body was gone. Oh, that's why the torches are lit. They weren't lit yet. And all of the snow around the snow lantern had been carefully cleaned up, too. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man. By the way, Godot never saw the blood, and that freaked him out. And that's why. Because he was cleaning up the crime scene.
It was after the crime took place. The witness came to think the killer was a man.
Just by cleaning up? Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor,
No need to apologize. It's as Mr. Godot said. You're utterly exhausted. It's only natural that you would be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume that the criminal was a man. Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination.
Alright, here we go. The killer. When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. I read that. Okay, here we go. So you lost consciousness when you were in the garden, is that right? Yes, I think. I think it happened when the victim was stabbed. So then the person that carried you into the inner temple.
It could only have been the killer.
That's what I think, too. So the killer carried Maya into the inner temple. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. Wasn't Pearl on that side too? Naturally, the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so. But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. I don't know. It looks like she doesn't have enough confidence. I think I need to gather some more information before I ask her again. So we come back to that one, okay. The torches were lit. Yes, that's how I noticed that the whole scene had changed. I'm going to say it was the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could it be?
The killer probably lit them since it'd be impossible to do any covering up in the dark. However, if that's true, there's one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go to the effort of moving the body?
That's true. It's hard to see how that would be of any advantage to the killer. The only one who would gain anything from that would be the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya.
Very well, let me hear some more about the condition of the crime scene.
And all the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. I already read that, what am I doing? So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow? It did look really odd. The snow was removed in a natural-looking rectangular shape around the lantern. There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple, but they're all really heavy. Way too heavy for me to use.
An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow away?
Well, there's one thing I can think of. Didn't you say that a lot of the victim's blood sprayed onto the snow? Yeah. The area I collapsed in ended up being splattered. In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think that's the most reasonable explanation.
Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me. The killer just wanted to hide the snow with blood on it. There was no need to remove that amount.
That's true. He could have scooped up just the snow that was stained with the blood. Ah, yeah.
Looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue.
But I think this will help explain them. So, you're saying that you never saw the killer, right? Yes. But earlier, you very clearly stated that you saw a man behind your attacker. Nick, I'm sorry. The killer certainly went through a lot of trouble. Moving the body by pendulum, manipulating the crime scene. But for what purpose? Why do all that? And also, they had to voice it in a way that Iris wouldn't be suspicious, because it was a cell phone call. Was it a text message? Don't think it was. I think it was a cell phone call. Maybe Maya knows more than she's letting on. When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. Oh, okay. Press this again. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so. Okay, let's see here. Now it's changing. The truth is, when I saw the crime scene, I felt something. You did? Yes. I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence from me. For my sake.
What? Hiding it for you?
So she wouldn't know it was her mother. Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. Your sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden. You may have thought that you had done it.
No, she definitely would have thought so. And you're saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened?
Yes, I'm sure of it. Okay.
Well, that's certainly an important piece of information. I want you to add that to your testimony.
Yes, Your Honor. I think it was for my sake that the killer cleaned up the evidence of what had happened. I don't know where to go from here. Stone lantern because of the blood on the lantern. The body of Elise Donham was carried all the way to Hazakura Temple's courtyard. At the garden, the real scene of the crime, snow that we suspect was covered in blood was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe all of this was done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. Oh right, he can't see red, so he can't tell where all the blood is, so he just dug it all up. And that's why he didn't notice the stone lantern. However, there's still one matter that still seems somewhat odd. Oh, and museum. Oh, and what would that be? You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya. Ah! If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't he wipe the writing off the lantern?
Oh, you're right. Order. But, Mr. Wright, isn't the fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene?
Indeed, but it doesn't make it much sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow, then not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing. And if Gumshoe did, then that would have changed everything. Museum, but if that's the case, do you have any explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Why would this killer move the body and remove all the snow, but then leave the bloody writing on the lantern? I don't know what the killer's plan was, but it's a fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern. I know what it was! Phoenix should have it by now. There must be a reason for it. We know what it is.
Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion. Why did the killer leave the message written in blood on the lantern?
The killer didn't notice it. Prosecutor Godot, earlier in this trial you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Museum, maybe you're not as dumb as I thought. The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that a crime occurred there. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean that they didn't notice it. But that doesn't make any sense. The torches were all lit and everything. There's no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as that. You're right. There is no way any normal person would.
What? What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright?
There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether.
And who would that be?
I gotta do this again.
Who is the person that could have failed to notice the bloody writing?
Once again, it's Godot. Mr. Godot, this is what you said yesterday. Museum. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything.
You can't see everything? Is that correct, Mr. Godot?
This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented. Yeah, that's why Godot freaked out.
This lantern, there's something written on it. But why? It's written in blood.
Nonsense. This lantern, it's as clean as a whistle. Oh, Mr. Godot, just admit it. There are certain colors you can't see, correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? That's right. We went through this once before. During the poison case at the Tribulations. Oh, hey! Yeah, we didn't... Oh, wow! Did we catch that back then or not? I guess not, huh? Jeez, that's an early clue. Museum. This is the apron the delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time, and somehow spilled coffee on it. They notice the ketchup.
There's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court?
Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be?
Don't play games, prosecutor. The blood-colored stain that smeared all over the apron.
That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain. Okay, so, and now I think I just assumed that he never saw it himself. But now, no, he actually just didn't see it. You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup because it was red. Huh. It's strange. In a black and white photo, those letters would have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one that can't see them?
So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you couldn't see the red writing on the lantern?
Museum. Hey Gramps, didn't you know? That's the reason why I don't drink red tea. What? Okay. I wasn't sure about it until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the murderer. But there's no going back now. I finally figured out the truth. Robber. Mr. Godot, the defense at this time formally accuses you. You are the murderer of Miss Elise Donham, also known as Misty Fey.
It's hard to believe this may be true, however. Once again, Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you.
Huh. Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in red ink, Gramps. Come on. How does a little graffiti make me into the killer? Besides, it's not like it's my name that's written there. I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see their color red. This is rich. Do go on, Wright. The answer is right there at the crime scene. In the snow.
The snow? How so?
Well, for example, why did the killer move all that snow? Your Honor, you said it yourself. If they wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not take out just that area?
Yes, why didn't they take just that area? Oh! Could it be?
Yep. Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that had seeped into the snow. And so he had to remove all of the snow. He couldn't be sure of where the blood had landed, so he removed the whole area. Considering that, why wouldn't you wipe down the lantern as well to be safe? When you think about it, right? If the blood splattered everywhere, to the point that you even dug up around the lantern and behind it, why wouldn't you wash down the lantern? You just assumed all the blood got on Maya?
Objection.
Museum. Isn't it more likely that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark? The lanterns, though. Not a chance. The torches were all lit. They would have been able to see fine.
It seems that once again this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot?
Is it Maya saying hold it? Yep. Wait! Just wait a minute. Maya!
What is it, witness?
Mr. Godot isn't the killer. After all, he didn't even come to the inner temple until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't show up until after the old bridge got fixed up.
Objection.
Museum. Maya. You can't testify to something like that. Why? What do you mean? I may not look it, but oh crap. Eek! After the murder happened, you didn't even exist.
She didn't. I'm afraid I don't follow.
Are you senile, old man? We established this just a little while ago. After the murder, this witness was unconscious for a long time. Because she was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne.
Oh, that's right.
Please, Your Honor, let me answer my testimony. Nick, please listen to me. Maya. And this is why they don't get together. This right here. Because he won't let her cover this up. Do you plan to cover for Godot no matter what the cost? If that's the case, then I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. If it means we're going to hear the whole truth, I say we should not silence her. Huh. Nicely done, Wright. One more testimony!
Very well, let's hear the witness's testimony. Please tell us what happened at the Inner Temple after the murder.
Yes, sir. After I woke up, I began trembling, and my spirit left me, as it were. But that little girl was there at the Inner Temple, too. Pearl! After the incident. Wait, she gonna put this on Pearl all of a sudden? Are you gonna sell out Pearl? Pearlie was stuck on the Inner Temple side at night. The next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the Inner Temple for the first time. He found Pearlie first and cheered her right up. How do you know all this?
Who is this Pearlie?
It's my little cousin, Pearlie Faye.
So when did you hear about this?
Oh, just a while ago when I was in the medical office.
I'm terribly sorry, but what you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony.
What? Come on. Pearlie would never tell a lie. She's a way more honest person than I'll ever be. Don't say that. Real smart, Maya. You always know the best thing to say when you're under oath. Huh. The prosecution has no objection. We believe the witness.
Mr. Godot!
Let's just move on to the cross-examination. If the defense has no objections.
This is highly unusual, but... Well, Mr. Wright?
Let's get this cross-examination started. Phoenix is kind of really good at this. After the incident. Whoop! Yeah, I was wondering about Pearl. So where did you think Pearl slept that night? In the spare prep room next to the training hall, I guess. There's a rule that you can't enter the training hall during an acolyte's training.
But even so, why did she go to the Inner Temple in the first place?
It seems that Pearls became very worried about Maya. She knew that the spiritual training I was about to undergo was very intense. How did Elise learn about the plot, though, is my question. Did she see the papers Pearl had? Pearls was supposed to channel Dahlia Hawthorne, but she couldn't do it. That's why she headed to the Inner Temple. However, Dahlia Hawthorne was already there, possessing the body of Elise Donham. The next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. I already read that. What's wrong with me? She searched the entire Inner Temple side, end to end. Well, you see, Riley gets pretty scared when she's alone. And there weren't that many places to look. She says that she even went back and forth several times. The Inner Temple side has two structures. A training hall and a spare prep room. And there's also a storage shack, I think. That's about it. Yes, it is. This entire Phoenix series has been insane. There was a storage shack, too. Pearls was looking for other people, right? Would she have really examined a storage shack all that carefully? Well, if it was me, that would be the first place I would investigate.
So that means it's possible that someone may have been hiding in the storage shack.
They'd be hungry as balls, though, wouldn't they? The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, he was in the spare prep room. We're alternating between Phoenix Wright and Professor Layton, so Layton 3's next. And then we're gonna do the crossover. Pearls didn't hear the sound of them working on the bridge? What do you mean? I was just wondering why she would stay in the prep room. If it was me, I'd at least go out and wait at the foot of the bridge. Oh, well, Pearlie said she was sleeping at the time. She said she was so scared during the night that she couldn't sleep well and woke up a whole bunch of times.
Oh, little girl, all alone like that.
Well, we know that she had at least one friend in the sacred cavern. Dahlia Hawthorne, who was busy battling with the trick lock. She couldn't let anyone see her. Oh yeah! Dahlia was wrestling with that lock and people did make noises. So she wouldn't have shown herself to Pearls. What happened after the bridge was finally fixed? Here we go, pressing. So it was your first time on the Inner Temple side, Mr. Godot? That's funny. Am I imagining things, or did the defense ask me a question?
Mr. Wright, please save your questions for the witness.
What you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. Those are your words, Your Honor.
Touché, Mr. Wright. Oh well, what do you have to say, Mr. Godot?
Hot nights and even hotter coffee. That's what I always say. If I hadn't even been for this case, I never would have visited there. A freezing cold temple in the mountains. I think I'll pass. So he had never visited the Hazakura Temple or the Inner Temple, huh? Want to say something trite? In any case, I have to find the crack in Godot's armor. While I cross-examine Maya, that is.
Very well, please go on with your testimony. After fixing the bridge, the policeman came over to the Inner Temple's side, right?
Yes, then Mr. Godot. He found... Okay, there you go. First. Found Pearl first. He cheered her up? That's what Pearlie said. She said he was a very nice older gentleman. Thank you for looking after my cousin, Mr. Godot.
And here I was thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict.
Cut it out. You're making me blush. This guy is really beginning to get on my nerves, in more ways than one. The truth is there aren't that many places to look on the Inner Temple side. The policemen were all busy going over the garden with fine-tooth combs. I decided to carry out an investigation in my own way. Godot style.
I'm the same way. I like to hand down verdicts in my own way. Judge style.
Okay. Maybe I should ask some questions Phoenix style. Okay. Cheering Pearl up. So you cheered Pearls up? When I found that little girl, the first thing she asked about her was her cousin, Maya Fey. Really? Of course. The bridge had burned down and she was huddled up in the tiny shack with no heat. Even though she must have had a truly terrifying night out there. She asked about you before she said a thing about herself. Pearlie! I noticed that you weren't anywhere on the Inner Temple side. But I couldn't find it in me to tell her that. So I gave her my last cup. You gave a child coffee? With milk and sugar, to hide the bitterness of the harsh truth.
What a sweet story.
Niffle. He had a thermos of coffee? Why doesn't that surprise me? This is a hell of a case, and we're almost done with it. There's only one thing of any importance here. Where was Godot when the murder was taking place? He must have already been at the Inner Temple when it happened. Otherwise, he couldn't have killed Elise Stoneham. Okay, so go to the last one. Right here, press it again for the other part. Godot's investigation, here we go. You said that you conducted an investigation of your own. Did you find anything? It looks like my investigation went about as well as yours. Trite. I lost the voice, gotta get it back. Museum. After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern. Well, I didn't miss it. So speak for yourself, Goggles. The only odd thing I discovered was the beauty in the training hall. Beauty? Misty Faye, naturally. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Western tastes? Could he find a stranger way to describe gravy? Yeah, I like the gravy.
So from there you headed to the prep room.
Wait a sec. What did Godot just say now? Say just now? I think I just found his proverbial weak spot. There's only one... Okay. One thing important here. Okay. The wall scroll? Go with that. It's not the wall scroll. Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence.
It does?
Okay, crap. Okay, Someone might have been hiding in the shack. Okay. Shoot, okay, Trying to find that weakness, and as far as we know, it's the last statement, but I'm trying to just go over all this again to be sure. Unless you've created something new. This is the first time, yeah, okay. Alright. Ah, crap, here we are! It's just like I thought. Godot is lying. If his first visit to the Inner Temple really was after the incident, he should know about that piece of evidence. Ah, balls, what did we miss?
Very well, please go on with the testimony.
Okay, let's go back. Step back, step back, step back. We got new stuff. That's what I was looking for. Press it again. So it was your first time on the Inner Temple side, Mr. Godot. Okay, so we did all this before, so get to the next part. Okay, now here's the new part. Okay.
What do you have to say, Mr. Godot?
Hot nights and even hotter coffee. That's what I always say. Museum. If it hadn't have been for this case, I never would have visited there. A freezing cold temple in the mountains, I think I'll pass. So he had never visited Hazakura Temple or the Inner Temple. Huh? Huh. You want to say something, Trite? It's just like I thought. Godot is lying. If his first visit to the Inner Temple really was after the incident, he shouldn't know about that piece of evidence. Okay, so it is, yeah, the gravy cover. Okay. Because how would he know it's Misty Faye under that gravy? Now it's here. There it is. It's Misty Faye under the gravy. Mr. Godot. The first time he crossed Dusky Bridge and went into the Inner Temple was long before the murder took place. Why do you say that? Because he just made one fatal slip-up. The hanging scroll in the training hall.
Hanging scroll?
But, Mr. Godot is right. That scroll shows a picture of my mother. Maya, I know you know who it is, but here's something you didn't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired, 2 days after the murder, the hanging scroll in the training hall looked like this.
What's that wonderfully delicious smell?
The morning after the crime, someone covered it with gravy. Gravy? But why gravy, Nick? Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. Well, Mr. Godot, if you really hadn't seen the hanging scroll until after the murder, you wouldn't have any way of knowing that it was Misty Faye. Hold it. Well, wait a minute, Nick. Yes? Take another look at the hanging scroll. Look at the top. There's a crest there. Ah, that. It's the mark of the master, correct? Exactly. So if you know the meaning of the mark...
Then you could guess that it was a picture of Misty Faye on there.
True, but Mr. Godot described what was underneath like this. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Oh! Yes, it's possible that he knew what the crest meant. However, he couldn't have known that she was wearing Japanese clothing. Mr. Godot, on the day of the murder, you were hiding at the Inner Temple long before the crime took place. How many cups of coffee has he had? Can I ask you just one little thing, Wright? What is it? Museum. This whole theory of yours. It all rests on a certain assumption. That I knew beforehand that a crime was going to be committed. That's right, huh? That's right, that's what I'm wondering. Otherwise, there's no reason for him to sneak onto the crime scene. Of course Mr. Godot knew about the plan. Huh?
What did you say?
Yeah, I'm wondering that too.
Is it really possible that another person knew of that plan?
How? Did at least Donham ask him for help? No, it doesn't work.
Sorry, at this stage of the game, a mere guess is simply unacceptable.
Damn it. So in the end, you were just bluffing, huh? Well, don't expect any sympathy cards from me, Wright. Damn it! There's only one way he could have known about the crime.
Alright, I'll give you just one more chance.
Of course Mr. Godot knew about the plan. Okay, okay, go back, okay. I was thinking maybe she told him, but no? Letter? Yeah. There we go. So he was listening in, I guess? This crime was actually planned over a year ago. Morgan Fay authored the plan for her daughter's future. And these instructions were hidden somewhere in Fame Manor a year ago. However, by the time Little Pearls found these constructions, they had already been unsealed. Oh, she said that, didn't she?
Unsealed?
Yes, the killer had read these instructions long before Pearls ever found them. That's how he knew the crime was to take place at the Inner Temple. Museum. And you're saying this crafty killer is me? You bet I am. But you just said that the instructions were hidden. That's right. Mr. Godot couldn't have known where the instructions were hidden. If he really wanted to know, he had one great chance to find out.
Yes, and when was that?
During a visit. A visit? Morgan Fay told her daughter Pearl about where the instructions were hidden. During one of her visits to the detention center. That would be the only time for someone to have learned where they were hidden.
Eavesdropping on a visit at the detention center?
Yes, it could be arranged if you were someone with easy access in and out of there. Like, for example, a prosecutor such as Mr. Godot. Alright, okay.
Order! Mr. Godot, you're under fire again.
This murder could not have been carried out without prior knowledge. And you. You were the only one that could have acquired this information before the murder. Seems like more people could, but okay. Go with that. Humans are afraid of the dark. And yet, at the same time, we're fascinated and bewitched by it. Museum. Maybe that's why humans drink the darkness that is coffee. Really? Sorry for always asking, but what does that mean? It means there's a reason for everything. According to her theory, the killer in this case eavesdropped on a conversation during a jail visit where he'd learned the hidden plan for a crime. After discovering the plans, he hid in the inner temple and waited for the crime to occur. Then he ultimately took a person's life. And he did all of that just to protect this witness? That's right. If you're accusing me of this crime, I have to ask you, why would I do this? This girl is nothing but a stranger to me. I've got no reason to go through that kind of trouble to protect her. I am what you see. I am certainly not the type to rescue the damsel in distress.
The killer's behavior is certainly extreme, for lack of a better word. Even considering that the killer wanted to protect this witness's life, this behavior is still a little too unnatural.
However, you had a good reason, didn't you, Mr. Godot? An unshakable reason that forced you to protect this witness at all costs. I knew it. You figured it out, haven't you, Nick? She's the mom of your babies! No, okay. Maya. I guess you were doing your best to cover for Godot. For the same reason, huh? There we go. Museum. Okay, Wright, I'm all ears. Let's hear it. It's very simple. Maya Fey is a lot more than just a stranger to you.
What's this?
There's one person who lies at the very center of this whole story. One person that ties you and Maya Fey together inextricably. Mia. There's a very good reason why Maya Fey's life is so precious to you. After all, she is Mia Fey's only sister. Mia Fey. You once worked alongside her. That was when you were a defense attorney.
Wait a second here. Mr. Godot is a defense attorney?
With your Honor's piercing intellect, you must have figured it out by now. The real name of this man who calls himself Godot. His real name is Diego Armando. I almost said Armando Diego. Diego Armando, isn't that right? The last time someone called me by that name was over 6 years ago.
Diego Armando. That name rings a bell.
It should, Your Honor. All of this is related to a single case. A case in which a convict named Terry Falls killed himself. Mia Fey's first time in court, the tragic outcome left a deep wound in her heart. She knew that behind it all was a heartless, scheming demoness in disguise. But in the end, Mia couldn't tear off that disguise. However, there was one man who reached out to help her. Diego Armando, a senior defense lawyer at the office where Mia worked. It's my fault. It's all my fault that Mr. Falls killed himself. Mia, you can't cry yet. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. I was moved by her. The way she put all her faith in her clients. That pure, sweet heart of hers. That's why I could never forgive Dahlia Hawthorne. Me and I thoroughly investigated that fake kidnapping incident. And one fateful day, Dahlia wanted to meet with me. It had been 6 months since the trial. We met in the courthouse cafeteria. There it is, we're finally learning this point.
Ah, I just remembered. 6 years ago, right here in this courthouse, you were poisoned.
Even I didn't see it coming. Dahlia Hawthorne slipped some poison into my coffee. How would she do that? Seemed like a guy who would guard his coffee very harshly.
Some newspapers at the time called it a murder, but very little information about the case was released to the press.
But you weren't dead at all. no official reports ever actually called it a murder. I was just in a deep coma. I see. My body shut down, and my life became nothing but a long, deep sleep. Museum. That woman's poison did a real number on my central nervous system. I lost my sight, and all of my hair turned white due to the damage it caused. That's terrible. Apparently it was a miracle that I ever regained consciousness. 5 years had passed since I drank that poisoned brew. And one morning my eyes flew open from the smell of a doctor's cup of coffee. Really?
5 years? You were asleep for 5 years?
And the worst possible news was waiting for me. Mia was dead for 2 years. Or 1 year. Mia Fey was dead. From the very moment I opened my eyes, I had already lost everything I thought I had. The woman I loved had been murdered. And the woman I loathed had been sentenced to death.
The woman you loathed.
The woman who had spiked my scalding hot coffee. Dahlia Hawthorne. Well, that established that he was in love with Mia. Huh. Good old Mia. She didn't let me down. She got her revenge before she checked out. In the end, there wasn't anyone waiting for me when I woke up. Oh, right, because Mia finally took her down while Godot was in his coma. That's so sad. Not even Grosberg, by the way? For someone like me, for someone who had slept away their best days, there were only 2 reasons left to live. And it was for those 2 reasons that I decided to become a prosecutor. If I may ask, what were your 2 reasons to live? The first was you, Wright. Huh? Me? If I hadn't drank that stupid poison, Mia Fey would have died, much less the way she did. Are you sure? She still got moited. Is it because he'd be working with her, I guess? You were the only one who was there to protect her. He was busy, being at home. And you let her die. It was all your fault. Dude, it wasn't like that. I wanted to see for myself what kind of a man you really were.
So that's why you became a prosecutor?
My other reason for living? He goes by the name Mia Fey. Huh? What do you mean? Huh? You mean me? You were the only way I could make up for the sin of not saving Mia. 1 year ago, when the Karain village incident was resolved, it was obvious that Morgan Fey was planning something. Whatever her evil plan was, I was determined to stop it. My role as a prosecutor put me in the perfect position to do something about her. That's how you overheard Pearl's visit with Morgan at the detention center. I knew that the time was drawing near. Since I knew the plan, I thought I could foil it. My goal was to outwit the plan. I thought if I could do that, I could keep that girl from being caught up in it. That makes sense. If Pearls had known that the actual purpose of the plan was to kill Maya, she never would have helped out. So he told Elise. Finally, the day of the plan was drawing near. I contacted both my accomplices.
Accomplices?
Iris, the Hazakura Temple, and Misty Fey. I especially needed the help of Iris. She was to take the fall in my backup plan, in case we couldn't control Pearl Fey. But? How did you contact my mother? She had been missing for almost 20 years. Officially, yes. What? What do you mean, officially? You knew where she was all along? You've heard about it, haven't you? About the strong ties between the main family and the government? Now that you mention it, Bikini did say something to that effect. She said that the Master of the Cardaean had great authority. Even without her official position, Misty Fey still wielded great influence. The police had been keeping an eye on her movements all the time. That's how I was able to contact her. Again, because of my position as a prosecutor. How useful. And my mother was cooperating with you. Don't ever forget. No matter how far away from you she was, she never stopped thinking about you. She was always... That's why. I knew she would do anything to protect you. If you want to know how strong her resolve to protect you was, look at her staff.
The staff? The one with the sword in it.
The day the plan was to be carried out arrived soon enough. We met for the first time at Hazakura Temple. That's when your mother showed me her special staff. I realized it then, just how far she was willing to go. She was ready to use that sword to protect you from Morgan Fay if necessary. Yes, even if it meant paying the ultimate price. Mother!
Hey!
That night, the night of the crime, there was just one way to stop Morgan Fay's evil plan. You mean Pearls, don't you? No, there was another way, just don't let Pearls channel Dahlia. But at least, why didn't at least tie herself down when she channeled Dahlia then, or something? We had to make sure she didn't channel Dahlia Fay. Dahlia Hawthorne. We had to make sure she didn't channel Dahlia Hawthorne. Museum. Well, Pearl, what are you going to do tonight? Well, if you'd like, you can come to my room. Perhaps we can read some books together. Oh, Pearl didn't show up! So that was desperate measure. We thought we could prevent her from playing her part in Morgan's plan. But she never showed up. She was worried and followed me to the inner temple. That was the thing we were most afraid of. And that's why Misty Fay had to do the channeling herself. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne into her own body. But didn't tie herself down first!
What? What do you mean?
If she channeled the spirit herself, then Pearls wouldn't be able to do it herself. As Master of Karain, Misty Fay's power was supreme. So that's how it went down. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne so that Pearl Fay wouldn't be able to. Ah, what? It makes sense. I like that I was right that Maya did channel Dahlia. It's just that I was wrong about when she channeled Dahlia.
What? Is this true?
Museum. My role in the plan was to make sure no one was going to hurt Maya Fay. That's why I hid myself in the inner temple. Just in case you needed to be saved from Dahlia Hawthorne. Godot. Anyway, that's all I'm going to admit to, right? Huh? There's no doubt about it. You're a great defense lawyer. But you're going to have to do the rest yourself.